Hey everyone, so in today's video, I am going to be showing you this look. It is my first fall makeup look of the season, and it's inspired by a dirty martini. Just a really nice, like olivey, glossy lid. I think, I love olive all year round. I love green, obviously. But I think for the fall, it is especially beautiful, of course. So I wanted to do a little bit of a glossier, grungier olive eye. And then I took inspiration by Pimento. For the lips, we're trying out a new foundation from Patrick Ta as well. Using some affordable liquid shadows, bronzer, and blush. A lot of affordable stuff. So I hope that you guys do enjoy it, and let's just jump in. So I have already prepped my skin. So I am going to go ahead into foundation, one that I am still testing out, and it is from Patrick Ta. It is the Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. Hold that thought. I just bought these yesterday. They were up to here. Not only do I love the color green, I just love olives, guys. They are so freaking ridiculously good. Okay, anyway, I have mine in the shade Fair 2. So you can see I have already used it once, and I really liked it. I gotta be honest with you guys, I really had no intentions of picking this up because it just felt like a foundation that wouldn't get along well with me. I'm not a huge powder person, so the fact that half of the product you get is powder, that's not exactly the most appealing thing to me. However, I saw this in store and I gave it a little swatcheroo. I felt the texture, and the texture was really beautiful. It's very, very creamy. I mean, you can see I'm using a completely dry sponge. This one's actually from Sonia Kasuk. I wanted to give it a go. But it is just a very spreadable product. It has a really nice finish as well. Just feeling it on my hand, I really liked the texture. And on the skin, I think it translates really well. So I'm excited to keep trying it out. And I actually think that this is a very good shade match for me. Again, it's the shade Fair 2. And I'm just pressing away here. I do have a review on the new Haus Labs foundation coming soon. Very excited to share my thoughts on that one. But for this tutorial, I wanted to go ahead and use this because I think that this foundation has a really nice finish for the fall. You can see it's not super glowy. It's a little bit more on the satin side, and it has a nice skin-like quality to it, which I find, in fall, we start to move more towards a slightly less glowy base. And especially with the eyes that I have going on, I feel like this is really going to even out the overall finish of the look. I want to see if I can build this up in some areas with a brush. Let's see if I can kind of cover up some of these spots I have, just using the Pro Angled Concealer brush from Beauty Pie. See what we can do here. It does look buildable. I would say it's definitely buildable, and I have like a really nice medium coverage, but truly it doesn't look like a lot of makeup on the skin, and that's what's really exciting about this product. So if you guys want to see a full review of this, or if you want me to include it in another upcoming video, I'm totally happy to do that. But let's go ahead into concealer. I have the Kosas Revealer, and this is 2.5C, right going into that hollow, and then a little bit of 0.5, just to kind of get a better shade match for me. So I'm going to let this sit. I'll go do my brows, and then we will jump on into the rest of the base. Okay, going ahead and blending out the concealer. And I will go ahead in with the Patrick Ta powder on top to more so finish the face, but first I do want to use a bit of blush, and this one is from BePerfect Cosmetics, and it is the cheek liquid blush in the shade Cherub. Go ahead and add some on, and I will be using a little bit of bronzer, but I really like this blush, so I want to kind of focus this blush color. Oh, I don't like it that much to apply that much. It's all right. We'll make it work. But I'm really excited about this color because I feel like it's very similar to a shade from Fenty that I've been wanting to dupe for a long time. The formula spreads quite well and it is very blendable. It's just super pigmented. You know, this is definitely a bit of user error, honestly, but we will make it work. So I'm just going to take any of the excess and use it to get a little bit of a base layer of color onto the forehead. We'll just keep pressing that in. And then I'm going to go ahead back into my foundation and just use a little bit to correct. So just taking a sponge and I'm just going to correct right here, down here, and then use that excess to kind of just slowly pat over. There you go. I actually probably could have corrected less. But doing the same thing over here. I love that soft kind of yellow orange quality that it gives the skin. And I think that this is going to be a really pretty product to mix into other liquid blushes as well. Super excited to show you the liquid shadows that I'm going to be mixing in a second. However, before we get to that, I do want to bronze a little bit. I'm also going to be using the BePerfect Cronzer. So I actually placed an order on Beauty Bay and these were some of the products that I picked up. They're all more affordable. I've never heard of these brands before, and I think it's just fun to kind of try out some more affordable brands from overseas. I believe these are overseas brands. So just taking the excess on the back of my hand, the Cronzer is the shade Sand. It's a cream bronzer, Cronzer. So that's where that name comes from. But just pressing that in. The shade is just a touch warmer than I would typically like, but it's spreading very easily. I have used this, I think, once before, so I'm still getting, you know, a feel for it. Definitely has pigment. I feel like I'm very bronze right now. Like the blush in combination with this, like I'm feeling a bit bronze. I really don't mind it though. I think it's kind of nice. So before we get on into the eyes, I am going to go ahead and set the face with the powder. Now you can see I did use a sponge that I had used for the powder into the pan, and then I got a little bit of like a dry pan thing going on already. But I am going to use this side of my sponge that is completely dry. Pick up some product on the back of here, tap off any excess, and just stamp it in. And I will say that the powder is very fine, has a nice fine mill to it, and it is perfecting, but I haven't used it enough to give, you know, my full stamp of approval. I am going to take a little bit on a brush and set the under eyes as well, because we're gonna have to see eventually how it works under the eyes. You know what? Not that bad under the eyes, but it is looking really nice on the face itself, so that's good. You guys, I picked up a bunch of liquid shadows from Sample Beauty. These are matte liquid shadows that come in like, you know, some more muted kind of tones, some khaki, this olive shade, which I am going to be using, but also, you know, some primary colors as well. So I'm excited to play around with these and kind of mix and match like custom colors. So I have the shade Stamina, and this is already like a really nice olive shade. You can see it right there. And I could definitely just use this on its own, but I also have this shade Strapping, and it's really, really pretty as well. A little bit more of a mustardy shade, and I want to somehow use these together and then add a gloss on top, just for like a really grungy, olivey, khaki kind of fall look. These are the shades that I love like all year round, but especially for the fall. Okay, so first we have the shade Strapping. Just going to take a bit of this into the crease. I really, really like this shade alone. Honestly, what a good base color. Now, you don't have to work super quickly with these, but you can't, like, you know, take your time either. You know, it's a formula that's kind of somewhere in the middle. They're less than $5 on Beauty Bay. I think originally, like, at full price they're $5, but I think to be able to get some colors and kind of mix and match is really fun. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and do. But this is, again, the shade Stamina, and I'm going to apply this right onto the lid. Probably shouldn't have applied it to both eyes. Should have done it one at a time, but we'll make it work. So I'm just taking this and very softly patting and blending. And I think I'm gonna do a touch of a wing as well. So there we go. We have like a really nice base down of that olive color. And I like that it looks a little bit more kind of undone and washed out, but I do want to add just a little bit more color and build this up. I want to see how these work. I want to really test the limits of these shades. You know, I love that they're affordable, but I want to make sure that they're good quality as well. So I'm going to go ahead and build and see how these work on layer 2. I'm definitely finding that these work better with a patting motion than they do necessarily a buffing motion. And that tends to be the case with liquid shadows, I have found, when you're layering them. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of place a little bit of this white shade in the inner portion of the eye to kind of like brighten things up. Now, I don't want to use a lot because this is stark white. It's the shade Impact. I don't want to use a lot of this, but I do want like a little bit of it. I wonder if I should add another color to it. Oh no, this could go wrong. You know what? I am going to add a little bit of Strapping, the shade that we put in the crease, just a little bit. You can see I've added just a touch of each, and I'm going to mix it and see what we get. It is lighter, but I want it a little bit more light. I like that, but I feel like I didn't mix enough. I do recommend mixing these on like a palette or the back of a makeup compact rather than on your hand, because they dry down faster on the hand than they do on a compact. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the inner corner. You know what? It's definitely different. It's a different look. Like this looks a little bit more soft and blended now than this. I think, honestly, I like this more though, but I do like this too for more of like a subtle, it kind of brings a little bit more subtlety to the look overall, but I want to go with just more of a matte look, one shade on the lid. So that's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'll say so far about the Sample Beauty liquid shadows. Are they the easiest to work with? No, I don't think that they are, but I definitely am preferring them to a lot of other liquid shadows in this price range, but I feel like I'm gonna have to play with them more. I am surprised at how much I was able to build and build and build upon these shadows. So that is a good sign. But now I'm going to go ahead and use the Danessa Myricks Glaze. And this is just a clear gloss. Listen, you can just use, you know, you can use a lip gloss that you have on hand. And I'm going to test if these will crease or not with a gloss on top. That's something that I love testing out with a liquid shadow. See if they hold up to a gloss. I haven't done a glossy eye in a while. And I think that this gloss, the gloss added on top, is what makes this, like, for me, the more like dirty martini look. Like that kind of clear martini glass vibe with the olive tone. So far, so good with that. I want to try this trick that I saw on Alexandra Anel's a video recently. She said that if you have issues with your eyelashes drooping, then you should use an eyeshadow primer on the lashes to prep them, and it helps them stay up. So I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes. I'm also wondering if this will help with longevity at all. And before we go on with mascara, I do like to take a brush and kind of tap out any areas where that might have messed with the gloss. And now I think maybe I'll do one eye and one eye without, and then I'll update you guys and let you know if it kept up the lashes, you know, differently on each eye. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll use it on this eye, and this is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I'll just wipe that through, make sure it's coating evenly. And I'm going to be using the Essence I Love Extreme Crazy Volume mascara. It applied as normally, which is good. Then let's see how it applies without. Okay, it applied well without, and it applied, oh, I got a little bit right there. It applied well without and with, but I'm interested in seeing if this eye keeps the curl longer, so I'll update you guys in the comments. Let's go ahead and set the brows with a little bit of Patrick Ta Major Brow Lamination. By the way, they have a sample size of this now, so if you don't want to splurge on the full size right away and have been wanting to try it, they do have a sample size on Sephora now, which is nice if you, again, you want to give it a go. I love this freaking brow gel though. Now for the lips, I picked up this new product from Gwen Stefani's line, Give Beauty, and it is Pout to Get Real Overlining Lip Pencil. I love this shape. By the way, it's the shade Do Whatever. And here's the shape. You know, it's a little bit flatter. It almost reminds me of like a brow blade kind of pencil look, but it ends up giving you kind of like a flat but curved angle. And I think it's really interesting. I have applied it to my lips once before, and I was able to get like a nice overlined look. So I want to go ahead and try it out again. And then I do have to figure out my lip situation. But let's first do a little bit of overlining. And I apologize if that doesn't look perfect. I have a burn, unfortunately, and I don't want to mess with it too much. I honestly find it to be a really nice color, and I think it applies really easily. So far so good with this one. It was kind of like an impulse purchase, but I definitely think that there's something to it. Now for the lips, I could do something a little bit conventional. You know, I was thinking of Cocoa from Bobbi Brown. Like, this shade would very clearly go well with the whole look. But I think Les Avenues from Merit might be really pretty. It's right there. I think that that could be a really pretty choice too. And maybe even like a red, or maybe if I can find a shade that's like pimento color, like inside of an olive. All right. We're on a mission, guys. Gotta eat the olive, obviously. There's a little bit of translucence to it in the light, but I think that this could work. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper than this color. But let's see what I have in my collection. I was thinking Tiger. Huh. I think that it's not quite pimento colored, but it's a little bit more muted, so it might work even better. I say we're going with Tiger from Merit. I think this was a good call. But to add a little bit more pop in the middle of the lip, I'm just gonna add a little bit of my blush. Okay, so this is my first fall look of the season. A little glossy, dirty martini action. I really like it. I like that I was able to try out some new to me products. I'm excited for fall launches. I'm excited to keep diving into more makeup. So if you guys have products you want me to try, looks you want me to try out, please leave me a comment down below. I will leave all the products I use down below as well. So thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.